Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 44 in my Automate Everything Minecraft series. In today's episode, I am going to be diving into the mod NuclearCraft, which is not in the Revelations pack by default, but I have added it to my pack because I do really enjoy this mod, and so I think it's about time to dive in. Now, the reason I want to dive into this mod is it is primarily an energy generation mod, which allows for it to produce RF, and I believe it can even produce EU as well, which are the energy for thermal expansion and the thermal mods, and then NuclearCraft 2 and the add-on mods for that. Anyways, so what I plan to get to eventually, I probably won't this episode, but who knows, is the Fission controller and the Fission reactor, which is a nuclear reactor. And in case you guys haven't noticed, I do really enjoy nuclear power. And in Minecraft, it just seems to be a really good source of power. So let's dive right in. So let's take a look at what it takes to make the fission controller. It requires some nuclear furnaces, a machine chassis, advanced plating. This is all stuff I do not have. So let's just do one thing at a time. I can do the nuclear furnaces. No, I can't. Never mind. Anyways. So to make the tough alloy for the nuclear furnaces, I need lithium and ferroboron. I do not have either one of those, and to get those, we need an alloy furnace. But to get the ferroboron, we also need an alloy furnace. So I think the alloy furnace is a really good place to start here. It requires some basic plating, which is graphite dust, lead, a furnace bricks, a copper solenoid, which I don't think I have. Let me double check here. Nope. So let's go back and find that that fission controller. And then okay, so let's get started. Let's make some copper solenoids. And then we might have everything we need, actually. So cool. I do have, or I should say, the mod NuclearCraft interacts well with some of the other mods that I have, and so I won't need to make too many machines before I can get to the fission reactor, because there are several other machines from other mods that can do things for me that I will be needing. So let's make, for right now, just one alloy furnace. I would also like to make speed upgrades. Now, these speed upgrades operate a little bit differently than some of the other speed upgrades from other mods. It increases the processing speed of machines at the cost of additional processing power. These upgrades can be stacked. The speed will increase linearly, but each additional upgrade, while the power use will increase quadratically. So basically, we don't want to put too many of these guys in here in our NuclearCraft machines, because we will see the energy usage go out of control if we do that. But it will be nice to have some of them. So let's go ahead and throw these in here, or get a few of them anyways. And then we can throw a few of them in the alloy furnace. So let's just toss these in our interface. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna need to make more of these soon. Anyways, so let's make a bunch of them for right now. I know I'm not gonna use that many, but let's grab the alloy furnace. Let's grab some of these. I think I'm going to need some flex duct right here. Ooh. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some NuclearCraft machines here. I'm really hoping I can make do with two for the time being, but we'll see, to be honest. Let's go ahead and lay down some flux duct here, and then we can put our alloy furnace right here. I'm probably going to need some kind of item conduit to connect the alloy furnace back to the ME interface to get items back out, but we'll see here in a second. Let's start off with 5. And then we can monitor energy usage right here, because I really have no idea what kind of energy usage we're going to have. So let's go back and make some of that ferroboron stuff. So ferroboron is boron dust and steel. So I actually don't have boron ingots, but I can make the dust real quick. So what I can do is I can actually pulverize this, I believe. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's also grab lithium. And do that. Actually, let's just see what NuclearCraft has in general for metal ores, and then just pulverize all of it. So thorium and magnesium. Thorium, magnesium. Cool. So let's just make all the recipes for these dusts, because that will be useful. It's actually called dust. I'm not really sure. It is. I just can't find it. Did I do lithium? I did do lithium. I know I'm going to need lithium. Cool. So that's lithium. But that comes from NuclearCraft 2. I think that crafting recipe comes from NuclearCraft, though. Okay, so there's thorium. Where are my other dusts? Let's just, boron. And then magnesium. Okay, so each one makes 2. So we can... That's not what I need. I need this. And then I need to actually do something like this. Okay, so one of you makes you. And just to make this a little bit cleaner here, let's do it like this, or organize things like this. Whoops. Okay, cool. Now we have all of, or some of the NuclearCraft dusts made up. We need to find our pulverizers in here. And there we go. We can just put one of each in these pulverizers. Cool. So let's take a look at that ferroboron. We need steel and boron. I really hope I can mix ingots with dusts here. So let's grab boron. And then let's just toss everything back in the system. Okay, so I want to leave one of those and one of those. Cool, so that seems to be working. Okay, so that's not bad at all. We can definitely throw more of these speed upgrades in here. Let's do something dumb like that. You know what? I can still handle that. That's no problem. So let's do 30. That is fine. So let's go ahead and hook up some item conduits. How I'm going to do this is, I think this should work. That's an insert, that's an extract always on. Yeah, that works. Cool. So then if we have any more machines, we'll do the same thing right here. And let's do that. And this will be an insert. And that'll be an extract if we have another machine there. So let's actually make that recipe. I got rid of my stuff. Why'd I do that? So I need a boron, a steel, and that makes 2 ferroboron. Cool, and that should be the alloy furnace, I believe. So then what can we make with that? I think it was the... Was this it? No. I already forget what the next step was. So let's go back here. Lithium, duh. Okay, so ferroboron and lithium. Where are you? Let's just take a stack. Lithium, where are you? Oh, duh, it's not NuclearCraft. That's why it's not showing up. So this should provide the next alloy. And that's not a problem. Like I said, the power usage is perfectly fine. I have plenty of extra power. I really had no idea how much energy that machine would use, and apparently it's not a whole lot. Okay, so that would be, I believe, 2 apiece. I should probably check that. Yes, it is 2 apiece, so that is a valid recipe. And then I still can't. Okay, so I need the nuclear furnace. That would be this. And let's actually make a few of these. 10 should be alright. And then let's actually, we might actually be able to make this. So machine chassis is not too bad here. And I'm kind of guessing we're gonna need a lot of these if we actually play this mod a bit, I should say. So I don't have the advanced plating yet, so let's get that. So all of this stuff seems to be kind of alloy furnace intensive right now. I'm considering putting in another alloy furnace, but for right now I think the one's gonna have to do. Okay, so we need this. So we need boron dust and magnesium dust. And I already forget the ratio. It's 2 to 1, but I forget which one was 2 and which one was 1. That's good short-term memory right there. Okay, so 1 magnesium, 2 boron. 1 magnesium, 2 boron. Whoops. And I'm struggling right now. Okay. That is this right here. Once again, the alloy furnace. And then should be everything to make a fission control. No, it's not. Because I have one step I forgot. I forgot this step. So let's actually make a bit more of this. Cool. That seems to work. Okay. Boom. And that should be the final step for actually making the controller. Now we need to make like the sides for the reactor. And these reactors are cool because you can kind of make them just about any size you want. So let's actually make a fission controller. Come on now. And then we're going to need a bunch of reactor casings. So this is kind of where I'm probably going to have to wait because I'm going to need to make a bunch of these. I'm not really sure how many, but I'm going to need to make a bunch of them, and that'll probably take a little time. Splitting the atom. I've split the atom plenty, just, you know, in other mods. Extreme reactors and industrial craft. We're just going to do it a third time in a third mod. Anyways, so to make the actual fission reactor, we need reactor casings. We're not going to use that because we're not going to worry about that. Transparent reactor casings. Let's see here. I'm not going to worry about that. Reactor cells. These are where your fuel actually goes in the reactor. So we will need plenty of these. So let's automate that recipe. To be honest, I really don't know what ratios I should be asking for early on. I know what fuel I'm probably going to use. I think I'm going to use the TBU fuel, which is actually probably the coolest fuel. If you'll notice, if you hold shift and go through the fuels, it provides different values, them being time, power, and heat. So the TBU fuel lasts, I think, the longest out of all the fuels. It provides, I think, the least amount of power and the least amount of heat. The power and heat, I believe they do scale together. I don't know that that's actually law, though. So, yeah, I think I'm going to be using the TBU fuel. And that will probably require more machines. Okay, so how do I get thorium? Isotope separator. I'm going to need this isotope separator. So yes, this is the second machine I'm going to need. I'm going to need, okay, I have everything except the electric motors here. So let's automate that. I really am running out of space. Let's request some of those and then just type it in because I don't know where it is. Isotope separator. There we go. So we need one of these. Let's also grab some more speed upgrades. I also should probably do some recipes for the thorium itself. So I need these to be thorium ingots. So let's go ahead and make us a recipe to cook these guys. And I think I can just use a plain Jane furnace here. Indeed. And so the isotope separator will go right here. And we need to have this extract always be on. And actually, let's see. Can we just do thorium dust? We can, it looks like. And I don't want that many speed upgrades. Okay, that's fantastic. So I don't even need to bother with the thorium ingots, at least not for now. Okay, so I did 50 in this one. I think this machine, the isotope separator, uses more power than the alloy furnace. Yeah, it uses quite a bit of power, but you know what? That is still perfectly fine. So thorium dust, and we can actually tell it that it makes one of each of these. Fantastic. And then I need to do something like this, and that makes the TBU fuel, which is the fuel I will be using. Cool. Okay, so this is the isotope separator. Let's find that. Perfect. And then the molecular assemblers. Okay, so let's actually request some reactor casings. Oh, cool. Same name. I'm really not sure how many I should get. So let's see what 800 will cost. Okay, that's not bad at all. I kind of thought I'd need more tough alloy than that. But that is not bad, so we can go ahead and request that. Let's also request some reactor cells here. 100 should be more than enough. And then, let's see here. I think I might need some ports. So there's the fission reactor ports. Place this block in the shell of a fission reactor in place of some reactor casing, but not in the top or bottom sides. Okay, so it just needs to be on the side. If a controller is attached to the reactor structure, then its inventory and stored energy can be accessed by automation through this block. So we will need some of these blocks. Do make sure that the port is facing the reactor interior. The front of the port is the side with a slightly different texture. Okay, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. And then, cool, I am currently constructing some reactor casings, so we should have the materials to make these. So I think I'm going to make, I know I'm going to need 3 of these per reactor, 1 for item input, 1 for item extraction, or the used fuel extraction, and then the other for energy extraction. So let's go ahead and make 3 of those. And, okay, so the reactor casings are coming along nicely. We don't have any reactor cells yet. Let's go ahead and make some fuel. So let's tell this thing I want 100. And so it should start cooking up. What else do I need? You know, I just had a weird thought. I was wondering if you could put a reactor door on the reactor. It doesn't say anything, so I bet you can't, but who knows. Anyways, so what we're going to need in addition to everything I have going right now is some coolers. Now, the cooling system is interesting in this mod because the coolers all have rules for how they operate. And is it night? I'm going to try to sleep. I don't want to battle with the rain. But anyways, all the different coolers have rules that they operate by. So it's not just a matter of using the best coolers. It's essentially coming up with a really good design to make your reactor. And I think in this episode, I'm going to go ahead and make a sample reactor. It's not going to be a permanent reactor. But I'm going to set it up over my B-base because that's kind of what needs power right now. My B-base, the whole emerald power thing with the numismatic dynamos, it doesn't work super well because I keep running out of emeralds over there. So, yeah. And even if I hooked it up to my applied energistic system here, I think I would be running emerald negative. So that's not ideal because I like to have emeralds. So let's get it some new power, and that's what we're doing with NuclearCraft. So I need to make the base cooler, the empty cooler, and this is going to require a lot of tough ingots. So that's kind of unfortunate. Okay, so there are, I don't know how many different types of coolers, somewhere more than 10. But anyways, if you hold shift, you can go over the rules. Yeah, so I know I'm going to want some cryotheme coolers, so let's automate that. Wow, that's expensive. Must touch exactly 3 reactor casings at exactly 1 vertex. So essentially these go in corners, I think is how I'm reading that. And we'll see what I mean after I actually make some of these. What other coolers can I use? 1 moderator. I'm probably not going to use moderators in this first reactor. Like I said, it's just going to be kind of an example reactor. Iron cooler. The quartz coolers will be probably used quite a bit in actual designs, but this first design I'm not. Redstone coolers, definitely going to use some of these. 1 reactor cell or moderator block. Okay, so we'll probably need water coolers at some point. So let's just go ahead and make those. They're the worst coolers, but they're probably the easiest to place in a reactor. Do I have lapis? 1 reactor cell and 1 reactor casing. Okay, so these are also very useful coolers. Let's make those. Nope. Okay, so for right now, I think that's good enough for in terms of coolers for this first reactor. Okay, so we got everything we need except for the coolers. And I'm probably going to have to wait on the coolers. So what I'm going to do for right now is I'm just going to find the base cooler, and I'm going to say make 1,000 of these guys, and I'm going to wait on that. And when those are finished up, I will be right back. And I'm actually still waiting on those coolers to be finished. But what I'm going to do real fast is I'm going to rip out all these numismatic dynamos. As you see, I have no emeralds here. And if we go upstairs, this system's not on. Nothing's running outside. All of the bees are doing nothing because they don't have power. So like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip all of this stuff out. Not the capacitor, but all of the dynamos, the black hole unit, and the conduit here. And then I'm going to be right back. So I think I have just about everything I need. Now I do need to hook up some automation for the reactor itself to get fuel into and use fuel out of the reactor. And I think I'm going to use ender chests for that. For the fuel insertion, I'm going to use a red ender chest. And for the fuel extraction, I'm going to use the yellow ender chest. So let's go ahead and set that up real fast. I'm going to put the red over here, and the yellow over here. So like I said, the red will be for the fuel insertion, so we need to export the fuel, which is TBU fuel, into it. And we'll need a crafting card so that anytime this needs to be crafted, the computer can automatically craft it. And then for this over here, we just need an import bus. And we definitely do not need the acceleration cards on the import bus, but whatever. Might as well. I have the resources. Anyways, let's head over there, and then we can actually build this reactor. This reactor will be rather small, but that's not, it should, I hope it's enough to power what I need. So anyways, I think how I'm going to build this is I'm actually going to build this a little bit into the floor. Let's see here. So the back of the reactor I want to be right here. Let's build this thing almost as big as we can. So the sides will be something like this. Yeah, this is going to be a little cramped, but nothing we can't handle. So like I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and destroy this floor here. And these reactors can be almost any size you want, which makes them kind of easier to build. They do need to be a regular shape, as in like a rectangle, not a rectangle, but like a, not even a cube, but I don't even know how to say this, actually. I think I want the controller right here, but anyways, it needs to be like a regular shape. It can't be an odd shape with like lots of different sides or anything. So the power output I think will be let's actually, it will need to be actually right here, I think, because the top of the reactor will be along the vibrant capacitor. We're kind of limited there. And then the item insertion and extraction can be on these sides. Actually, it says the slightly different side needs to be facing the interior. And that would be this side right here. So let's try this again. I wonder if we can wrench these things. Okay, so that is facing the interior. That's the interior. Cool. So that should be all good. Let's go ahead and set up ender chests. I think we can just go ahead and place them here. We do need some item conduit or something to actually get the items in and out. So over here, we need the yellow is for the empty item or the used items. So we need to extract always on and insert, and then over here is the opposite because we should have some fuel. So extract always on, insert. And apparently that does not have a GUI. That's fine. And then over here, we need the actual energy. So let's grab some flux duct. And I grabbed one too many, but that's fine. And then let's actually replace that torch. And then I think we can go ahead and build this thing up. Okay, and then when we get a proper shape, this will change, and it will essentially tell you that, hey, you have this reactor in a proper shape. And it functions. And then we're going to have to cut a hole in the reactor somewhere so that we can get in and actually place the blocks that we need. Okay, so the next thing is we actually need to top this thing off. Build a top. So this reactor is going to be rather small, to be honest. You can build these things very, very large if you want. Awesome. So it looks like I have done everything correctly. Obviously, I have no fuel cell reactor cells in here, so it's going to produce 0 power and 0 heat. It does tell you the total heat output right here. You want this number to be negative, because if it's not negative, then you have a booming issue, as in it will explode. So first off, let's grab some coolers. I have already crafted some Enderium coolers, and the rest of them I have not crafted yet, but we can do that as we need, because basically it's just like lapis and redstone and water or cryothium dust with the cooler. The cooler is the expensive part, to be honest, at least right now. So the Enderium coolers, I believe, can go in the corners here, and just to confirm this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to block this back up and then click on this. Perfect. Negative 960. That is fantastic. So let's look at the rules for some of the coolers that I have. So must touch at least 2 reactor cells. I'm probably going to want to use a bunch of these. So let's make 50 of them. Heck, let's make like 50 of like all of them for right now. It's probably a little overkill, especially for the water, because the water ones are kind of garbage at this point. They're kind of always garbage, but whatever. Anyways, so I said, the TBU does not use a whole lot of fuel. If you put reactor cells beside each other, they will make more heat and more power. Just like in NuclearCraft, if you put reactor cells beside, or not reactor cells, but the fuel beside each other, it produces more power and more heat. Same thing applies here. So let's see here. Lapis must touch at least. Okay, so there's at least one cooler I could be using that I'm not, and I don't remember which one it is, but if it touches 2 reactor cells, that's moderator blocks. Okay, so we can use some lapis back there, and lapis is a good cooler. Oh, it's the cryothium. We have cryothium. Fantastic. So like between our rods we can do this, and then over here we can do lapis. And let's take a look at what our heat output would be right now. No cells. So this right here doesn't seem to be working. Extract always on, input. I know in the past you could hook this stuff up to the actual Fission controller itself. I'm going to try that right now. I'm not sure if it's going to work. So this needs to be an insert. This needs to be extract. Okay, that works. You know what? Let's get rid of this for the time being and move it. Because if that works, then what I think I can do is something like this to where this can be extract as well, but extract on brown, and this can be insert on brown. Okay, so right now we are running negative heat. I kind of anticipated that because the TBU fuel, like I said, does not produce a whole lot of heat. So let's get back in there and put more cells. So one more thing is, if we hold this, it says base process time is 120 minutes. That changes with how many reactor cells you have in here. Well, the base process time doesn't change, but like, for example, if I had only one reactor cell in here, it would take 120 minutes. But if I had two in here, it will take only 60 minutes to run through the fuel. And if I have three, it will take 40 minutes to run through the fuel. So essentially, that's just kind of like a placeholder time for how long it will last if you have more reactor cells. Or that's not even the right way to say that, but that's just a base time. You do not need more fuel in the reactor. If you have more reactor cells in the reactor, it just will run through the fuel a lot faster. That's how it compensates, kind of. So I think over here, I can use lapis along the walls here, and then cryothium in between. And I think I'm just gonna run that that pattern throughout. This actually is not a very complex pattern, and that's kind of because the fuel I'm using does not produce a lot of heat, so I don't have to get very creative with how I set this reactor up. Okay, so what I can do to make this a little bit faster is something like this. And then we just need to check it before we turn this thing on, that we're still in the negatives as far as heat goes. And I kind of anticipate that we are fantastic, and we are producing almost as much power as we need. I think I might be a little short on the power front, but that's okay. So the base time right here is 120, so we'll divide that by 36 to find the actual time. So I'm going to do that real fast with the calculator right here. So 120 divided by 36. Each fuel should last, excuse me, 3 1/3 minutes. So 3 minutes, 20 seconds. So that's cool. And I will need redstone to turn this on, I believe. So let's get a lever. And I don't want it there. Okay, so we should see. Okay, so it provides some stats, but unfortunately I don't think I'm getting the power out. Let's go upstairs to double check that. But yeah, I'm not getting the power out, so I do need to switch something up here. Let's. I know it said it needs the reactor ports to be facing the interior, but let's do it the opposite way. Okay, that seems maybe. I think that's working. It is! Fantastic! So essentially I just had to flip that thing around, and it looks like it's working now. I will need to make sure that it's actually extracting the used fuel. The used fuel will appear here. In the future, I will want to reprocess that used fuel because, actually, let's take a look real fast. Let's find some depleted TBU fuel. If we reprocess this in the fuel reprocessor, we will get some uranium-233 and uranium-235. Heck, we'll get some neptunium as well. And we can use these things to make fuels in the future. Now, there are a lot of fuels that we can make. Let's just do NuclearCraft real fast. Like I said, there are a lot of fuels here, and they all have their own stats and stuff, and some of them are pretty complex to make, others are pretty easy. The uranium-235 fuels are pretty easy to make. The TBU fuels, as I demonstrated in this episode, are pretty easy to make. The MOX fuels are kind of easy to make, I guess, because uranium-238 is very plentiful and plutonium isn't too hard to get. But yeah, NuclearCraft is a really, really cool energy generation mod. You can make giant nuclear reactors, both fission and fusion reactors. This obviously is a fission reactor, and this should help my B base to actually operate because, like I said, the emerald thing just wasn't working out. So anyways, if you liked today's episode, definitely give it a like. If you like automation and modded Minecraft, then consider subscribing to my channel because that's kind of what I do. I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.